members in 1955 who floated the uprights and crossbars down the River Stoat to a farmer's field covered in cowpats and had to be removed before they could play a game, ever have dared dream that come 2017 we'd arrive here at Latin Park? I suspect not. Jason Leonard has been delayed, so we will wait and welcome Jason when he comes. So we'll now get on with things, and this is where I am flying by the seat of my pants because my speech is out the window. But we all know Jason, we all know that he's a sporting superstar and well respected throughout the rugby world. But we will say more about Jason when he comes. But other guests we would like to welcome today.
The first mention of move that I could actually find was in the AGM in 1997. When Chairman Dr. Cliff Bishop announced the team had been put together to look at how we could improve the facilities. Well, some 20 years later, here we are in this fantastic new facilities, and I hope that those no longer with us, Cliff himself, John Hurley, who was the mastermind and architect, Alan Webb, who organised the feasibility study, our founding father Ron Bracewell, Chris Locke, who later went on to represent the club in the numerous public appeals we had to go through, and John Guyton, who became our administrator and archivist. I hope they're all sharing a pint of nectar, smiling, looking down upon us, satisfied in the knowledge that we delivered on their foresight and their vision. And it is with great pleasure today that we have their relatives here, of those early visionaries here today. There are other two members of the first committee, Mike Ryland and Ross Loveday, who are also here today, and you will hear from them later. Over the past 20 years, there is no doubt we have faced extreme challenges. And in 2007, we reached the lowest point where Mike Ryland and I were asked to attend a meeting with the local authority and the English Partnership, at which we truly believed the project was going to be cancelled. But once again, the luck of the Welsh came to our aid in the form of a rugby playing Welsh case officer from English Partnership, who understood the benefits of a community-based rugby club and what it can bring to an area. And within an hour, we pretty much thrashed out the heads of terms. In 2008, we were asked by English Partnerships to once again look to see if Latin Farm West could be used, and such work started on a plan, and we engaged initially Stefan Zins to prepare those plans. However, after a period of optimism, the market crashed, and once again we went into the doldrums. But behind the scenes we kept plugging away, and in 2014 the market started picking up, and the rest is history.
Thank you. I hate using these things because I always take like that when I get animated. So I will do my best to use it effectively. It was when I was asked if Jason could come about 6 weeks ago. I said hopefully he can, and no. Jason, I knew that if I asked Jason to come to Harlow Rugby Club, I knew he would come along, and I'm really glad he did, although it did look a bit dodgy at one point. I was asked to not only welcome Jason, but introduce Jason, and that sounds really strange. It sounds really strange to ask someone to speak about Jason Leonard because of the rugby legend he is. But I am going to share a couple of the expected facts that you might not have known, because sometimes you know Jason Leonard is just an England rugby legend, but actually some of the stats are just fantastic. He played 114 times for England, and that. And many of those caps that he got were in the days when you didn't get awarded caps for being on the bench. You had to be the starting player. So those players that have, because at one point Jason was the most capped international player in the whole world. So I don't know about you, but it makes me go goosebumpy just saying that. He also, so he remains the most capped ever English player. He was capped 5 times for the Lions, going on 3 Lions tours, and that's a phenomenal feat in itself. And finally, he is a World Cup winner. So. What a thing to be able to say! What a thing to have achieved! And when I learned this fact from a friend of mine, Mark Guthrie, who knows everything there is to know about all the useless facts about rugby. And actually, Jason, Clive Woodward talks about Jason's substitution in the World Cup final being a pivotal moment in the game. Because, for those of you who remember, England were being crucified, the English front row were being crucified by the ref. He was deciding that we were collapsing or boring in, or he decided we weren't doing it right and was awarding penalties against England. And finally, the icing on the cake was the 80th minute penalty which gave Australia the chance to draw level. And then Jason came on, and allegedly, and I don't know, I haven't talked to Jason about it, and he can tell us the truth in a minute, but allegedly, he looked the ref in the eye and said, I don't go up, I don't go down, I only go forwards and backwards, so you won't have any more problems, ref. And the ref knew him, and we didn't have any more penalties, and we won the game, and the rest is history, so it's all because of Jason. So, so clearly, we are in the presence of a rugby legend. Couldn't come down to the club, he would still go to meetings that he really shouldn't have gone to, because he had this, this exceeds all those expectations, if I'm honest, but it was something that so many people at the rugby club believed in. And I know, because we spoke about it, at the heart, he envisaged Jason Leonard being the person who would be here on this day. I know it's not the time for sentiment, it's the time for looking forwards and looking onwards and looking upwards, as Alan said. But today, Dad was so proud to have known Jason, and he would have been so proud. So I want to finish by thanking Jason for fulfilling that dream, if you like. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, excuse me. Thank you, John. Thank you to the club for coming down here for the opportunity. I've always enjoyed coming to Harlow. I mean, I was born and brought up in Dagenham, I was. So it's always nice for me coming to a place that's got so many bloody roundabouts. I've got to tell you. I always laugh. It's John's very kind words about my career. I didn't aim to do any of that. I just wanted to be the best I can. And rugby's great. You just want to play rugby with your mates. That's what, and enjoy it. That's what makes rugby successful. I do laugh when John starts quoting all the stats, and you think Wikipedia is a wonderful thing. But I've got to say, there's one thing on there, I know you did mention it, I'm quite proud of this. It's not actually on my Wikipedia page, but I was the first person to ever get cited for foul play in the professional game. And I got accused of punching and knocking out the Scottish captain, Rob Wainwright, up in Scotland. And it was this is the first time that the first season the game had gone professional, so it was about 96, 97. And it's not like today where you've got independent people there looking at viewing cameras and all this. It was still very still amateur run, the game. And I got a tap on the shoulder after the game, and a little Jobsworth sort of pulled me to one side and said, "Oh, you've been cited for foul play." And I sort of said, "Oh, right, okay, who cited me?" He said, the Scottish coaches. I went, "Well, don't you think that could be a little bit of sour grapes?" I was like, "We've just beaten them, hockeyed them by 30, 40 odd points." And they said, "No, you've been accused of punching and knocking out Rob Wainwright." So I went, "Okay." So what do I have to do? They said, "You have to attend a disciplinary hearing back at the Lensbury Club in Tennington. So you've got to travel back very early tomorrow morning." I went, "Right, okay." So I'm getting the red eye out. So that sort of curtailed my evening a little tiny bit. I didn't finish until about 3 or 4 or something like that in the morning. And I get to the airport at Edinburgh, and I'm just checking in. And who's behind me is the Scottish coach, Jim Telfer. And he's obviously the guy who signed me. So I turn around and I say, like, morning Jim. And he basically grunts at me, he doesn't really say that much. And I said, like, okay, he's obviously not a morning person or something. So I go through, I check in and go through, and then get on the plane, and I'm sitting in 4A, he's sitting in 4C. so you can't really avoid me now. So I sort of try again. Morning, Jim. He says, morning, Jason. We have a very fractured conversation. We get out at Heathrow, and you would have thought, in fact the game's now professional, you would have thought there's a car for me, there's a car for him, taking us to the Leonard Rugby Club. No cars. So we're looking at each other going, do you want to share a taxi? Yeah, we'll share a taxi. So we jump in a taxi together. We go to the Leonard Rugby Club, there's a great big board there, and it's got all the rooms there, and as Johnny said, I have had scrapes before in the past about discipline and stuff like that, so there was an IRB sign there saying disciplinary hearing, so we went to the room, knocked on the door, we got called in. There's only one person in the room, an ex-French president that just passed away called Marcel Matin. There was no analysts in there, there was no other reviewers, there was no lawyers in there if you think about the game now. And all that's in this room is Marcel. He's sitting behind the desk, there's 2 chairs there, one for him, one for me, for Jim and me. There's a TV, there's a video cassette player at the bottom of the TV, and a cassette on the side of the table. And so we sit there and we go, well, what's the score? Well, what's going to happen? And he said, look, this is the first ever hearing of its kind in a professional game. What we'll do, and he said, picked up the cassette, he said, we will watch every single camera angle of the alleged incident. And we watch it normal speed, half speed, and frame by frame. Now there was only 3 cameras in those days at Murrayfield. Now you've got cameras in the uprights and everything there, but there was only 3 cameras. And each camera angle started with me come flying into this ruck like this. And at the end of it you see Rob Wainwright go jackknifing out like that. But the bit in the middle, the most important bit, you couldn't see anything, because in our game we have great big fat knackers called second rows. And they get in the way of everything. So you couldn't see anything there. So we go through all these camera angles, normal speed, half speed and frame by frame, get to the end of it, and Jim Telfer quite brazenly just goes, there you go, Jason Leonard punched my captain Rob Wainwright. And I said, hold on a second, you can't accuse me of punching Rob. You can't see anything on the TV. I said, have a look at that last camera angle. It's a shot from behind. And as I'm coming in like that, you can actually see the palm of my hand. I said, if I was to hit Rob with an open hand, I mean, mindful of the fact that he was knocked out and carried off the pitch, I'd break every single bone in my hand. But my hand is fine. Quick as a flash, Jim Telfer went, it was an elbow. It was an elbow chop. And I went, I'm about 5'10". He's got to be about 6'4". How can I hit him with an elbow? Quick as a flash, Jim Telfer changed his mind again. He said it was a forearm smash. Which it was a forearm smash. So literally, Marcel Matin said, look, no, there's nothing to answer to here. So that's fine. Jim Telfer, being quite a fiery character, walks out the room, kicking over tables and chairs and slams the door. I get up quietly, very dignified, get to the door, open the door, just about to walk through, and Marcel calls me back. So I hear Marcel, I hear Jason. So I sort of turn back around, I don't go back into the room, I'm sort of half behind the door. And then I'm looking at him, and he's literally got a face like thunder. And he's sitting, his arms folded, and I said, yeah, what's that? And he goes, I'm not very happy. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm not very happy. And as he's sitting behind this desk, pointing at me at the door, he goes, I know you punched Rob Wainwright. You know you punched Rob Wainwright. And he goes, pointing at the TV, he said, just because I couldn't see it, I wanted you to know, I know you did it. Now, I'm slightly cocky, I've got off the first ever case of foul play in the professional game. And I said, Marcel, look, don't feel bad, don't be upset. But can I just tell you this? Rob was a lot closer to you and he didn't see it either. That was back in the days when you could get away with stuff like that, but not anymore. I think
Ross Loveday, who is now an artist and sculptor, offered to create something that brings back those memories of times gone by. But will also give us a focal point to remember those teammates who are no longer with us. And as such, I'd like to invite Ross and Mike to come forward and unveil his creation.
Wait for it. Come on!
again in a minute. Come on. No left.
For those that can remember the old days at Round Gorse, remember we used to have this above the bar or above the fireplace. It sat in my shed for a few years, then Ross offered to take it, and he has created this absolutely magnificent feature from it. So Ross, huge thanks. And he's going to say a couple of words. How's his mic?
A really nice bottle of red wine was brought over to me, and Alan Price, this gentleman, I thought, what's up here? We normally have rubbish down here. And anyway, after a few glasses of red wine, they said, you know, we understand you can do some sculpture work, and would you like to do the round? So another couple of glasses went by, and I said yes. And I'm really pleased I've done it, because Harlow Rugby Club has meant an awful lot to me. I came up from the Valleys when I was 21, joined the club. My wife and I got totally involved in the club. The boys played, my two boys played for the club, and it's meant an awful lot. And to see this today is, I'm just knocked out by it. It's absolutely wonderful. So thank you.
I'm reminded after that sort of escapade, something that the Duke of Edinburgh said. He said, I've done this so many times. He said, I always get it wrong. Apparently you just have to pull something. Well, yeah, I try. Actually, people say it's sort of a 20-year project. It's actually slightly longer than that. In fact, John Hurley came to me very soon after that match was talked about, the one we lost at Twickenham. To say, I understand the farmer is thinking about moving on, and that would make a wonderful site for a new club, and that's when it all started. And what was incredible about it, there was a decision that sometimes I'm not sure was always right, but having seen the club today, I know it is correct. And that is, it's Harlow Rugby Club, it's Harlow, and it's going to be a new club inside Harlow. Now, that caused a lot of delay, and you know, I'm also reminded somebody was saying, you know, one of the problems is there's 3 in this marriage. Well, you had 4 in the marriage, and it took a long time before we all came to the same point. Was, yes, this is the clubhouse that we're going to have, and it's going to be in Harlow for Harlow Rugby Club. And the only one word for me is absolutely stupendous. Thank you.
Just before we unveil the impact, this will also become our memorial to all of those teammates that are no longer with us. So down this side of this you will see we've already put the first 6 plaques. There will be a lot more going up over the next few days. So this is just back to also to remember those people that have been and taken us on this journey so far and have got us here today. But I have to say seriously, Ross has done an absolutely amazing job with this, and he deserves the whole club's absolute thanks. Of course, as is traditional in all clubs, we have a slight unveiling. We're going to unveil a plaque now, which will go up on the wall outside in the foyer in a couple of days. So I'm just going to ask Jason and Tracy to just unveil the actual plaque, which commemorates our opening today. So pull it up. Unfortunately, a little bit low, but so this will go up, but this actually commemorates today, and thank you to everybody.
Thank you very much, Jason. I just have a few closing remarks to make. We wanted a club which will give a person a supportive environment to learn, enjoy and play rugby to the very best of their ability. We wanted a club that has the best facilities possible to support the training, playing and watching of rugby. We wanted a club that offers a friendly and inviting place for our members and their families to spend their time. I am proud to say we have achieved that. And as we celebrate the official opening of our magnificent new club facilities today, we have remembered with grateful thanks many of our friends, past and present, who have all made this possible. But I would now like to recognise the efforts of Alan Brooking, who has carried this whole project over the line with a fusion of diligence, persistence and resilience. Without his sheer hard work and determination, we may never have seen our dream become reality. To recognise Alan's efforts, I would, on behalf of the club, like to make a small presentation to him, and once again offer our very grateful thanks. Also, on behalf of Essex RFU, Ivor has a presentation he would like to make to you too, Alan.
This is a valued volunteer certificate, which obviously you know that we presented a few to Harlow, but here's one for you, Alan. And thank you very much, you're very valued. And to go with the tie, we made a specially crafted ram as a tie clip, which I hope you will take on now.
You know, I have to say, as I said before, I was very lucky. When I first came to Harlow in 1981, I joined this club. And I have made some amazing friends. And I do believe that's what rugby is all about. It's about the friendship, the camaraderie, the ability. Whether it's on the field or off the field, that is what we truly believe in. And I think more importantly to do with the club, we stand by the core values of rugby. And we try and make sure that everybody that comes here, young and old, also stand by them. And I have to say, I am pleased. I'm pleased for everybody that's here today. I'm pleased for all the work that has been done. But it is about moving on, and we have to move on, and we have to make the best of this. So what we're going to do now is, we're going to go and support the first team. At 5 o'clock, we're going to support the veterans, and then we're going to have a bloody good night. So welcome to everybody.